Suspension travel, wheel size, bike brands and component specification. It's an incredibly complex business buying an e-bike before you even get into frame materials. Now by and large it's a straightforward battle between carbon and alloy, yet it's not really that straightforward. So today we'll be looking at this whole business of frame materials. Now in the past, carbon bikes certainly have had the edge over alloy ones, especially if they're matched with a slick paint job. However, that's changed quite a lot in recent years. You can get some really good looking alloy bikes out there. In fact, for some brands, it's really hard to distinguish the difference between the silhouette of a carbon bike over an alloy one. I mean, look at these two bikes from Specialized, the Levo in carbon and the Levo in alloy. Or maybe the Mondraker Crafty in carbon or an alloy. It really is hard to choose. Then of course there are some brands that don't even choose to make their flagship bikes in carbon. So I guess the answer to the question lies with you in this respect. Do you like the look of it or not? It's one of the key factors in people's decision making. So are you looking to save weight on your e-mountain bike? Well, probably not. Now on traditional mountain bikes, the grams really do matter, especially in disciplines such as cross-country or enduro. But you really are going to be paying for it, especially in the component specification department. Now, in general, carbon is lighter than alloy for the same equivalent strength, but it's an incredibly complex business. The thing with e-bikes is the weight variation between different bikes from different brands is really quite big. So therefore, frame material has less of an effect than such things as motor type and battery capacity. For example, a 500 watt-hour battery would be lighter than a 700 watt-hour one, but then if you're looking for performance advantage, it'll definitely be with the latter. Is carbon stronger than alloy or vice versa? That's very difficult. It really depends on the people involved in the whole business. Depends on the designers, depends on the materials being used, and critically, it depends on the manufacturing processes of each material. Maybe a bigger or different question for you guys might be, what's the intended use of your e-bike? On the whole, carbon does tend to crack under impact, whereas alloy tends to deform. But the whole business all lies in the frame design of your bike. You can get super stiff carbon ones, you can get super stiff alloy ones. Which brings us on to the next point, and a really important one. How does the frame feel when you ride it? Unforgiving, overly stiff frames and also wheels can be very uncomfortable to ride. And with the added mileage we're doing on our e-bikes, then comfort is really important. So what is more comfortable? Now it's no secret, and it's very well recognised that some brands feel that stiffness of a mountain bike is everything. And I've been on no end of press camps where the marketing manager has done a presentation and saying this bike is X amount stiffer than last year, and there's loads of journalists there going, oh no. The bottom line is the flex stiffness balance is an art, and not everybody has got it right yet. And the same way as getting the how do you feel what is the right stiffness and right flex? What's too flexy, what's too stiff? Well, that comes down to experience and lots of it. Now, demonstrating the difference between the flex stiffness balance is actually really simple. Now, these are two different carbon layups from Specialized. So if you look at this material here, bends really easily in that direction. Whereas if you do a twist test on it, it's actually really difficult to twist it. This material, on the other hand, really pretty stiff in that direction, whereas this direction is actually pretty flexy. Now, when we're looking at the money involved in the different materials, in general, carbon is slightly more expensive than alloy ones. But then you look at different brands. I mean, some brands don't even make carbon bikes, whereas some brands don't even make alloy ones. The bottom line is carbon, yeah, in general, it is a bit more pricey. This is a tricky one. Now, we all hear these horror stories of head tubes coming off or bottom bracket snapping. The secret here is to do your homework with the brand. Have a look at the forums and see if the particular brand has really good experience and knowledge of carbon manufacturing. That's a tricky one, isn't it? The whole longevity and durability subject. Now, In general, as I mentioned earlier, carbon does tend to snap under impact, whereas alloy tends to bend or deform. That's under a pretty serious impact, by the way. But maybe the question lies with you, the rider. Are you a heavy rider who rides in really tricky, gnarly, rocky terrain? You might be the kind of rider that should be riding an alloy bike, but that's it. It's just a bet. You don't know if you're going to fall off. So maybe have a look at the guarantee that the bike manufacturer gives you on your e-mounted bike, or maybe have a look at the bike's frame protection, because that can really give your frame a lot more longevity. So that's it, brief run through different materials involved in e-mounted bikes. Remember, there is the business of steel as well. I'm sure there'll be more of them in the not too distant future. This subject is probably all about getting involved in the comments, a very complex business, so do get involved in the discussions just down below here. In the meantime, if you want to have a look at a carbon fiber e-mounted bike, have a look at the Levo, or if you want to look at a alloy one, there's the Canyon Spectral just down here. Don't forget to hit on the globe, subscribe to EMBN, and give us a thumbs up if you like this video.